Welcome to the Homefront Podcast. I am your host, Toree McQueen. I'm a realtor, an entrepreneur, a mom of four, and a bold dreamer, always on a mission to turn nothing into something. Have you ever wondered how all these other entrepreneurs do it all? Can they actually have a successful and thriving business while also having a happy home life? Here, we dig into the real stories from entrepreneurs on how to run a biz and a home life, how to scale and grow, and how to manage parenting and relationships without sacrificing your home life or happiness. After all, isn't that what matters most? Let's get to it. Hey, everyone. We are back here, and thanks for tuning in. We have got a really cool show today because I am bringing on board one of the most important people in my home front to disclose what it's actually like for him. It's my husband, James. So he's coming on to answer all of these fun questions. And really, I think it'll give you guys a good idea of what it's like for him. And this will be kind of fun because some of these questions I've never asked him before. So I'll be staring at him from across the way, probably giving him some looks. So we'll see what he says. But I think this is important because one of the reasons I started the show is because I think that a lot of people don't talk about what it's like for families or what it's like for spouses or what entrepreneurship actually is like in the home life or on the home front, I should say. So I thought it was be different and important for you guys to get to know me and my husband a little bit better and get a good glimpse with all the good stuff and really raw and unfiltered. So here we are. So welcome, hubby, James McQueen, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for having me here. Hopefully I can shed some kind of raw light into the reality of kind of what it is on my side. Nothing like what she's doing, but if I can give you any kind of glimpse of what's going on, here it is. So let's see what we got.
All right. So we'll start out with some of these questions and then of course we'll dive in. You guys have been hearing, in some of the other interviews, some of the five questions that I always ask. So at the end we'll kind of go over that also, but we'll start off here. So James, what's it like or I should say what are the pros of having a crazy entrepreneurial wife? Yeah, this may be hard, guys.
Yeah.
We'll start with the pros. Let's see how hard this is for him.
Yeah. So the pros, everything is changing. Everything is different. Everything is new. Whether that's good or not kind of depends on the day. But some of the things, everything is just ever changing, really, which keeps it fun, keeps everything different. Yeah, I guess that's really it. It's just everything changes. So you have to be able to go with the flow, really. As much as she does, I have to as well, and the rest of our family. So it's always changing.
Now, when you say go with the flow, what do you mean by that?
So your day changes constantly, right? So you could be doing a showing here or some type of meeting here, a meeting with an agent, and while that's happening, I'm somewhere. So whether that's at the house with the family, with the boys, or out and about, or at work myself, it just kind of depends. So we have to be able to adjust. You have to be able to adjust, and it just kind of works out that way.
So you would say go with the flow is a pro?
I kind of like to go with the flow. I guess both, really. It's kind of both. It depends on the day, right? So sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's good, and sometimes I might rather just come home and kind of do our normal routine, which I guess we don't really have too many of those, but kind of relax a little bit. The relax time is definitely minimal for sure, but it's fun. It keeps everything fun. It keeps everything fresh.
It's nice to hear that this is a pro. You guys, my husband is more of a homebody than I am.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it's funny because if we do get times where I'm out at at an event or I'm out networking or doing something for the business and he doesn't get to tag along and he is back with the kids, I feel like you always try to stay busy, which is funny because when I'm here, you're like, I want to stay home. But at the same time, if I'm not planning something, he's like, what are we doing?
Kinda, yeah. So when you're out and about, it gives me time to kind of focus on the kids and the family and do those things. When you're home, I kind of just like enjoy being home and not thinking about anything. So when you're here, it's like, okay, we're here and just family. That's all I like to think about. When you're out, it's like, well, we gotta let's figure out something to do with the boys. Let's figure out something to do, around here. Let's do some puzzle. Let's take some time away from it until mom gets home. Really.
Now, how do you feel about people, saying that sometimes you're the babysitter?
Mm, I love it. I don't care. I enjoy the time with the boys. So it may be different for other people, but I actually enjoy the at home dad stuff. We have four boys, a girl on the way. It gives me a chance to be a kid again. Really, the oldest is 9, the youngest is 2, and everything in between there, I get to relive, just like I was a kid. Right, so I get to enjoy the GI Joes. I get to enjoy the video games. I get to enjoy the sports. I get to enjoy outside again, and it kind of keeps everything fresh even on that aspect. So it's pretty fun. I like being home. I like being the babysitter, I guess, the fun babysitter.
Well, and it is, I mean, it is fun. And I think, for every family, they do it differently. But I think more and more in this space, there's a lot of women out there dominating. And it does help to have somebody that is home, especially with multiple children. I think it's easiest to have a spouse home or someone there taking care of it. And luckily, I guess when you're saying the pros, it is a pro to be flexible, or your schedule to be flexible, because he does work a full-time job. For those of you that don't know, it's kind of been a crazy 2020, 2021 with his current job, and he's been through surgeries and he's kind of out now, but he will go back. But it's allowed for a little bit more flexibility, and we've really just, I guess, what the pro is that I'm able to ebb and flow with your schedule, which allows you to be home with them.
Yeah, luckily with your kind of choice of work and all those kind of things, you've been able to be flexible around the things that I have, which then, I do my best to try to be as flexible as I can when I am home. And lately that's been a lot, like you said, due to the surgery and things like that. So you've been actually doing so much more. I don't know, how much you guys know or whatever, but I had a surgery on my ankle. So I, for the last month, really haven't even been moving, haven't really been walking until like 3 or 4 days ago. So really everything that I did do, Toree's kind of taken on, which is sometimes small things, sometimes big things. But like, I don't know, just the other day, Toree's bringing in she's bringing in the groceries, and usually I'll put things on the shelves and organize it, because that's just kind of how I am. I like to organize it. And then she's realizing like, oh no, oh no, she's got to do that as well.
Where's
So
my pantry organizer?
yeah,
You guys, I go destroy the pantry because I'm the one that cooks, and well, he cooks too sometimes, but like I'm the one who uses the pantry a lot and like gets in there, gets all my stuff. I have it in certain places, and I bring in the groceries, and he likes to organize the fridge and put things where he likes them. And even now he can't even like hobble around the kitchen and organize it in a timely fashion. So everything's a little disorganized in our life, but
yeah.
anyways, we're ranting on about that. But the pros, I would say, is, I guess, the flexibility.
Yeah.
So that's cool. All right. So what is the hardest part about me being entrepreneurial? And I've told these guys this story of like my journey through like doing my startup, and then also coming from corporate, and then having kids, and like doing another business, and me and all my fun business ideas and ventures. So aside from just doing my real estate and leading my team and my agents and training them and really mentoring there, like there's other parts to the business and things that I do. So what would you say is the hardest part for you as a spouse, and what, yeah, we'll just start
Yeah.
there.
So with that, I would say it's kind of the build up and the come down to each one of those things. So every single new venture, every single new idea, every single new agent, every single new product, right? Or doing this podcast, everything comes with the buildup of it, the emotions, the planning, the prep, the time, all those things. And when there are hiccups, when there are, the endings of things, when we do decide that, hey, let's call it quits on this and let's go down a different route, there's a come down for sure on those things. And then there's the lag, the time in between of, what are we going to do next? because there's always a next. There's always where do we go from here? What's the next thing? Okay, this didn't work. That's fine. Let's, what's new? What's now? So there's a build up to it that's time consuming for sure, more than just kind of once you get in the flow of what you're doing. And then the come down, like I said, like once the endings are never really fun. It's not like the movies, right, where you're like, oh, happy ending, good, we're done. It's there's an emotional come down. There's those kind of things too.
Change and adjustment
to for human beings, and then us as well. So it's just a lot. It takes a toll, I'd say.
Yeah, and that is kind of the hardest part. And a lot of decisions I make on my own, but with where I'm at in my business, James still steps up when I have questions or thoughts on things to do with the business. And as much as I try to separate it, he is still such a very important part of where my business is at right now, and my flexibility and how I'm able to grow, but also keep home on the forefront. I think it's a conversation that we have quite often as to what should my next move be, or what should I focus on here. As much as he's not on the payroll or any of that, I mean, he does get a lot of that conversation and weight on him. So I'm sure that's probably hard.
Yeah. So I have in my opinion, I have a lot of good ideas, right, that I say from an outside perspective that usually eventually they get listened to. Usually it's when someone else brings it up, like it's a brand new idea, and I'm over here like, yeah, I said that like 3 years ago. I said that last month. I said that last week. But when it gets brought up again, sometimes it works out in my favor, or our favor, really. But I like to think that I provide good outside opinion. I don't know if that's true or not.
But it's also one of those things, I hear a lot of spouses work together, and it's been a question, or we've thought about it a lot. Like, okay, do we actually want you to stop doing your work that you do and completely shift into doing this together? And it's kind of been a hesitation. I think it's just like, well, do we want to? Like, do we need to? Do you like it even? Like, I don't know. So we're kind of floating there. And I've been chatting with a ton of spouses that work together, especially in real estate. There's a lot of spouses that do grow their businesses together. And one of them will be operations, and the other one will be more geared towards agents and growth. So there's a lot of different avenues to take. And yeah, I don't know. We haven't fully decided that route yet. But okay, so that's the hardest part. But in entrepreneurship, there's this thing that people tend to say, and they say like, enough is never enough. Like, what would you have to say about that?
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to hear this answer.
So it's true. It's true. So whether it's like, it's always a new venture, it's always a new thing, it's always, where can we cut here? What can we do here? While we're planning all these things, while she's planning all these new ventures, it's also,
let's go to Disneyland.
Let's go on this vacation. Let's go do this. Oh, you have 3 days off. Let's fill 3.5 days and just, get some more time off from work too while we do this. Oh, and then I also plan this interview and this other thing while we're driving. So, we're going to do this. So everything is literally cram packed all the time, which is why on those times where we all happen to just kind of be home, why I like to do nothing, like hang out, play blocks on the floor, watch a football game, something like that, and just literally do nothing, because all the other moments are filled, like literally filled, like while you're driving, while we're texting, while, anything is filled with getting from here to there while we do something else on the way, basically.
And I think that's something that I can get better at with like the separation, because I think it's so integrated right now. And again, a lot has to do with being in real estate. I mean, you have to deal with clients, and I have to ebb and flow with my clients' needs when I'm in the transactions. Now I have some more agents in the transactions, but agents that need me, they have questions, and everything's needs to be done in a timely manner. And in this business, you have to separate that. And that's something that I can get extremely better at.
But that's
that's what I will be working out. It's fun because you guys will get to see like the journey of where I started and like where we're going, because we are definitely not perfect in like how we separate our time and our integration with the business, and taking phone calls and having the kids like, oh, go run over here. Like, I have a phone call to take, and he's got he's got the kiddos handled.
Keeps us flexible though. It
Yeah.
teaches them flexibility. I mean, there's a lot of pros to it. So, like I was saying, the pro is also the con. It's kind of both. It just depends on the ebb and flow of the mood of the emotions that are going into it and things like that. So, while I do like a stable environment and being able to relax and things like that, the flexibility teaches. Really, I like that it teaches the boys. It teaches me to kind of be okay with that, and that it is okay, and it's fun. It can be a lot of fun too. So the pro is the con is the pro, and it just kind of depends on the day.
Okay, so if you could, because I've been in corporate world before, making
Mhm.
a high salary Monday through Friday, doing all that with two kids, like, would you ever wish for me to just go back to that sometimes, or what is your outlook on that, or and why?
No. So not ever. I so with the busyness of, from this minute you're putting out a fire with somebody, and the next minute you're helping an agent or something like that. The next, I don't know, 4 hours or something is family time, right? So if you were to go back to that 9 to 5, then you're 9 to 5 doing that while commuting back and forth. So really, it's what, I don't know, 8 to 6 kind of, and then really it's only like 3 hours of family time. And then if you add like eating dinner or a sport for one kid, let alone four, really that's your entire day. There's no talking in between. There's no life lessons in between. There's no teaching. There's no fun in between. So while there is this, I have to block out this hour for this, the next 3 hours are usually, all right, let's go to the store, let's go shopping, let's go to the park, let's go do this. And then the next 2 hours I got to do something else. But definitely, while it is go go go, sometimes there is a lot more downtime. You do a good job of kind of planning that, really, because it is so go go go. It's like, hey, I got this morning, but I'm gonna leave the next 4 hours after that open so that we can do some family stuff. So no, I would never say go back to a 9 to 5, because I enjoy it. This is, like I said, it's fun. The pros, the con's the pro. It's fun to be busy, because I probably wouldn't do that on my own normally, because I am a homebody more. So
And he's the stable one with his stuff. But and stable, I just mean like routine wise. I've always got these surprises, and as much as I can try to plan ahead, my ideas ebb and flow. So, and
mhm.
which one I want to act on ebbs and flows. And I think that is a common trait for many entrepreneurs that I talk to, is when they get an idea, they run with one of them and it becomes this hyper focus where if that's the path we take, we commit, and that is the path that we need to take. And everything completely shifts, routines completely shift. So yeah, I think still, if I have some extra work to work on my business, I can do that at night after, sports games or kids go to bed. Obviously that eats into some of James's time, but I think we've gotten a little bit better at that, to where he can have his time to do a couple of things he needs to do. I can do a couple of things I need to do. We can close up shop and then finish the night out together doing that. So no 9 to 5. Okay. Plus it would probably crush my soul. I mean, what do you think it would be like for me if I were in a 9 to 5? I'd probably be itching every
Yeah,
day.
you. I think crushing your soul is probably is probably on point. So while I enjoy, so I work 4 days a week, right? But and have 3 days off, which is pretty cool. But while I enjoy being able to leave everything at work and come home and not have to think about anything, I think you trying to not think about anything would just would kill you. Really, I don't think you'd be able to just do nothing. So
Well, and that's a question I get asked too. Like, how do you separate? How do you turn it off? Oh man, you guys, if you
you
guys
don't.
know exactly how to turn it off, that would be great. I mean, we talk about being present and how you can be present. James, from your perspective, let's hear it. What are moments where you see that I can turn it off or have a hard time turning it off? Or are there other times that I'm better at it than not? Or what does it look like for me to actually be present?
I think when it comes to the kids, you're really good at kind of turning off work and showing, moments with them, like making sure you get 45 minutes or 30, 30 minutes an hour, something like that with the kids before nap, to lunch, and with doing some puzzles, or, something like that, that shows, hey, I'm paying attention to you, which with the kiddos, 45 minutes of straight, like undevoted time is a lot, is golden, right? They love that. And then kind of plan around like, okay, I'll get this time with them, then they'll get a nap, and then I can, I can be a busybody for 2.5, 3 hours, something like that. When they wake up, then I can go back to this, hang out with them for a little bit of time. We can get dinner going, things like that. So I think that you do a great job of devoting lots of time to them and making sure that they are the priority while you have all this tornado of things going on in the back of your mind and throughout the rest of the day. So I think it's good. I think they don't feel it. They don't feel it. I don't know if they know that you have a job, right? Right? Because they don't really feel it. Even though sometimes we'll pack them up and we'll go to the store here, but it's on the way to some other event that you got planned or whatever. But I don't think they feel it yet or have any idea.
Or at least I hope not in a negative way. I mean, I know that they know what I do, or like, hey, mom's going in her office, or mom needs to do a work call, or mom's going away on a work trip. Like
Mm-hmm.
and they're smart. They know what I do, but they don't understand in a way that like, oh, today's dad's work day. Like
Yeah.
you guys, sometimes I'm in my yoga pants cooking a meal, and then I go off and I work for 2 hours in my office, right? And then other days I'm dressed up to the nines, going out with clients. So when they see me dress up, they're like, "Oh, you working today?"
Yeah.
Like you're actually they see work as like physically leaving.
It's different because dad's work and how like, okay, you're gone from this time to this time and then you're back is it's different. My the way they view mine and mom's is different because she can be here all day or half the day and do that, while mine is you're gone, like dad's gone.
Hey friends, I'm just chiming in here to invite you to join in on my Friends Club. It's like a newsletter, but way more fun. By joining, you'll get exclusive access to bonus episodes, freebies, tools, tips, and resources to empower you to scale in your business and your home life. As a bonus, you'll get the option to opt in to get monthly video updates on what I'm working on behind the scenes in my business and my Homefront. This is your chance to take advantage of all the valuable content from myself and guests on the show, as well as getting to know each other on a lot more personal level. It's super easy. Just click the link in the show notes or go to toreemcqueen.com/friendsclub to join. That's toreemcqueen.com/friendsclub. See you inside. Now, everyone has a different opinion on that because a lot of people think you can't be successful unless you're working X amount of hours, or you can't have life this way if if you're not working 80 hours a week in real estate, it's not going to happen for you. And I just, I have mixed feelings about that. Yes, do I think you need to be in real estate, full time? I think eventually to be good at what you do, it depends on your skills. It depends on how you are with people. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. How much are you studying? Like, what was your experience prior? For me, guys, you guys know I've been in sales. So for me, it comes naturally to do negotiations and closes. And so for me, my learning curve was really just about once you learn how to negotiate and understand people's needs and how to solve those problems, that comes easy to me. So really it becomes, okay, how do I prioritize my time to get things done most efficiently? And like I told you guys, it was not my mission to work a bajillion hours a week, all for nothing to leave my kids all the time. I've always wanted to, make sure everything's good for them on the home front and make sure that I can go to their games and their sports practices. There's always something going on with the season, especially as they start to get older. And I know that my mom always tells me, just wait for it, because we have, again, all of our boys are under 9. So right now, sports are not crazy competitive yet. They're just starting to get there to where you have to be in it or not, and committed and volunteer. Like there's just so much more that goes into it as I get older. So as they get older, things change also. I'll have to be flexible with my work, but I adjust my work according to the home. Wouldn't you say, James?
Yeah, so it'd be based off of what practice we have, what games we have, what events coming up, and such like that. So yeah, absolutely, everything that you do revolves around the schedule of our family for the most part, and not the other way. It's not, oh, I have work, I have this, so we can't do these things. It's yeah,
I
I
mean,
have
sometimes
work,
it's like that, but
I have work, I have this, and I'm gonna plan these things around this time and this time so that our entire day can be filled up so that we can get to that practice, so that we can get to this event and those things. So it's definitely revolved around the family and not so much around work, which is what's nice.
Yeah, which is why, I wanted to bring him on here and share this with you guys because, again, every book I read, every podcast I listen to, it does talk about what it takes to succeed and what you need to do. But I also think a lot of people's happiness and like life fulfillment outside of work, I know with entrepreneurs, like work is a half of the fulfillment in our lives.
Or
and
at
so
least led on to believe that,
or
right?
maybe it's led on to believe that. But I think people striving for that, they miss out on some of the other stuff, and some people don't. Some people working 100% is 100% their fulfillment, and that's what they need to be able to be fulfilled. And for me, like I said, everybody's different. For me, fulfillment is all encompassing, like my whole life, right? Not just the business. And so I want everyone to know that it's okay, and that is my version of success, right? So anyways, we're kind of getting off track here, but what would you say, James? What's the key? Because people ask me this too. What's the key to raising 4 boys and staying on track, you think, with our home life and me and my business? What's the key? Like, how are we able to do what we do?
So I think really the only way we're able to do what we do is to focus on them and what we have to do for them, and then build around it, and not the other, not the opposite. So I think where people mess up is when they're planning for their work schedule, they're planning for their meeting, they're planning for this, and then they miss out on the games, the practices, and those kinds of things. And for us, that's what's important, because they're only going to be, these little turds are only going to be little guys for so long, and then eventually they're going to not want to, be around there, and then you're going to miss. You'll look back, I feel like, and then we'll have missed, those opportunities of seeing those games, of seeing them learn, of seeing them grow, where they actually want you to see them grow. So it's definitely focusing on that and then building around it.
Well, and that doesn't go without struggle or hard work, or you guys, serious FOMO, or fear, not just fear of missing out, but fear of regret, right? Like, so, and I have to pick and choose. And now it's been, like I had told you guys before, it's inevitable that I have to grow and I have to scale, because guess what? Do I want to pay someone to constantly be with my children and do that? Or would I rather pay someone to help me in the areas I don't necessarily thrive in or enjoy or need to do with my work, right? So then I can pick and choose, okay, if I'd rather be with my kids more at their games, then I need to hire somebody to make sure that my clients are taken care of, because I can't neglect them either, right? Because then I wouldn't be good at what I do. But can I take a little bit less pay to pay someone else to replace myself, to be able to be with my kids, but also work on my business to continue to scale and grow? And I think I that's where I'm kind of in that messy middle, working on that, but it doesn't go without FOMO or fear of regret. And you want to tell them a little bit about how I am with FOMO or regret or any of that, or like what that's like from your end?
Yeah. So there's FOMO every day. There's FOMO of like, should I have, spent more time over here? Should I have spent more time over there? Should I have done this? There's always, and which is good, because you need to look back. You need to be able to say, like, could I have done this better? Right. And that's part of it. But but there is FOMO every day. And I think that's one of the things that I feel more, where she's like, hey, I did this, I did that, I did this, but I missed out on this. And now, there's more of the emotional side of it, of like, should I have done this? Now I don't know if I did the right thing, this and that. So there is questions, there is, those kind of things that go to it. So I think the FOMO part is kind of the I guess maybe the unloading that she'll do at the end of the day, that I get to hear a little bit more of, kind of after the kids go to bed and we're kind of winding down and the laptop's out and things like that. But it's a part of it. And that's, I think, what I'm here for. Partly, not mostly, but partly.
Mostly.
yeah, the punching bag or whatever. But no, it's to kind of hear that. And that's where I give, like, my super great wisdom of what she should have did.
Well, and here, that's honestly what he deals with as a spouse, right? I come home and I sometimes vent, and I'll ask him, like, oh, should I? Well, I guess let's ask him. Mm-hmm. Would you rather me come home and not talk about my stuff and talk about it with someone else, and then with you completely not be any business? Or do you think that's even possible?
That's not possible. It's not even real life.
Really?
That's not even real life, because it's like, so I'll say this, it's all day, right? So you're making all these decisions all day. So there's the little micro, transactions, micro conversations of like the FOMO parts or the decision points and those kinds of things. But it just kind of comes at the end of the night where we actually get the moments to kind of think about it, to actually sit down and be like, okay, these decisions were already made. But now we can talk about it. And now, where do we grow? What did we learn? Was it the right thing? Was it not? Whatever, those kind of things. So, no, I enjoy the unloading. I enjoy the getting to know, the things that she has going on in her mind and business and those kind of things. Cause this is not my forte, what she does, but it's something that I get to learn from the outside, which is nice, because I don't have to dive into it. I can just give my opinion from the from the bench.
So to you, it doesn't feel like I'm working when I'm having those brain dumps on you?
Not most of the time. No, I think you have to be able to unload to somebody, right? That's like I said, it's part of the job, right? Part of the job of husband and spouse and friend and all those kind of things, and sometimes business partner, right? So it's just part of it.
Well, and I guess not everyone would enjoy that, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that's why it works for us, because that is part of what we enjoy about each other is he likes to hear all the crazy I have going on. And yes, guys, he sometimes, if he doesn't want to hear it, he will tell me, but and he'll put me in my place if, I'm not letting something go, or, I don't think he allows me to dwell on things to where it emotionally takes a toll. But what would you say?
That's a big part of it. Is the venting is great, but when it gets to, more than that, then I absolutely step up. I'm like, hey, okay, we got to let that go, right? Because if you dwell on something too long, then it'll eat at you, right? It'll eat you up. So you have to vent. So someone's got to be able to be there to hear it. But then at some point you have to, what's the next step? Okay, cool. Well, let's get to the next thing. So, and you're good at that. So,
well, and a lot of it's like, it could be venting, but it's also, how do I solve this problem? Or how are we brainstorming? How do I piece this together? Help me figure out what's missing, things that are just, like you said, a bunch of decisions all the time, that once the kids finally do go to bed, I've got a bajillion decisions that I still need to make. And he does help me figure out how to prioritize those decisions. Hey guys, thanks for listening. Oh, I'm so glad you guys are able to meet my husband. I think it's super important that you guys get to see the number one person behind my success, and specifically how he has to deal with me on the home front and how we do things, because I want you guys to understand that every family is different, and how we are able to run a household and run a business and try to scale a business at the same time. I think it's super valuable for you guys to hear that everybody does it differently. How I may do it may not be how you want to do it or how you see it on the other socials. So I think shedding some light as to our thoughts and feelings, and how he has to deal with things and how I deal with things and how we work together to do things is super important. So hopefully you guys are able to relate and take some nuggets away for you guys and your home fronts. But we did get carried away, like I said, so we broke it out into 2 parts. So if you guys enjoyed what you heard and you want to hear the remainder of this interview, and also listen to the 5 questions that I typically ask, those rapid fire questions that I ask all interviews, we go ahead and cover those in the next part 2 as well. So if you enjoyed today, then go ahead and rate and review, and then also tune in next week, because we are finishing it up strong with those questions, and you guys will get a full glimpse of my husband and our current situation before we press on to other episodes. So again, I can't wait to chat with you guys next week, and thanks again for tuning in and for meeting my husband. Hey guys, thanks again for joining me on another episode of the Homefront Podcast, where happiness is our true profit. If you enjoyed today's chat, please take a minute to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. This helps us learn, grow, and reach more listeners just like you. Join me again next week as we drop new stories, experiences, and game-changing tips for your home front. As always, here empowering you in business and in life. Until next time.